Hello. Yeah, it's my notebook that I used on my retreat. So, I want to give you a little bit of background information. With the theme was Daddy Abba, meaning Father, being God. There so every morning from the first on day two, from Wednesday to Thursday, the first 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had morning breakout sessions where you went to somebody and you got a different. They all did the same topic, but they did it in their way with those people in there, depending on the people. I was with Chris, um, and the first morning he taught on how to be loved when you feel like you aren't. Okay, he went through the differences. So he mentioned human love. Human love changes. So human love is based on attraction, stems from personality. That's the thing. Based on attraction, based on admiration. But God love or godly love is based on choice without cause, stemming from God's nature, or that part is just for God, not an impulse of the feelings. So if you tell someone you love them, don't. If you love them in a godly way, where you have there's no real reason, you just love them and everything, because human love will always make you feel incomplete. Always. Okay? Human love changes. Okay? The expectations for human love is saying I love you, kissing slash hugging, gifts. I mentioned gifts. Being there for them, or conversation, being available for helping. Now, feelings that feel you loved are feelings shifting. Feelings are temporary. Reactions based on stimulus, based off other things different from different people is feelings and human love. That's human love there. Because on the other page I have these are the expectations type things. So I already have the expectations. These are just things never the same, but if you know your love, you get through with to people. I don't really understand. Feelings fade slash can be fake. If you know, it's not really knowing, but but in knowing it, you should feel it. That's what he was mentioning. Real love. The fact that you have to put real or true and feel in front of love shows you how much it's changed. Okay. This is just a little bit of information. So, what he said, the God's love expressed. This is how it's expressed. Always there, tells you things you need to hear, speaks truth, gives his gave his life for us slash sacrifice for Jesus. Choices, not forceful, conversation, and pushes away selfish desires. And he mentioned ugly is a way you act, not the way you look. So if someone calls you ugly, like, what did I do? But if they're going about your face, you say that's not ugly. Ugly is something you do. You can act ugly. I don't really know how to explain that. But he was speaking about what the difference is between those love. And he mentioned that if something somebody loves you with godly love, you feel complete and everything. So yeah, that's just that. So then that was day two. So that night, Zach taught about um your daddy is your protector. He got a lot of stories. This one's blank. There's a reason. We lit these candles, which represented the flame, for you and God. Okay? And he said to protect your flame and not let it go out, which is what you're supposed to do. And that he was representing that. And he had asked for anyone who needed their flame relit or need their flame lit to go up. First aid to the people that need their flame lit. I was not one of them, because which man do you need to give your life to Jesus? No, I've already done that. But then the second time was re-giving your life to Jesus. I was like, yeah, sure. Went up, and he said some different things about that. But Chris spoke the first night, getting off a little bit off track, going back, and there's this cross, and he said, anything that is blocking you from your connection to God, write it down on a sticky note and stick it on the cross. I did, so I wrote my thing down. Don't want to say what it is now, but stuck it up on the cross, and I sat back down, and I was like, I don't know if I can give this up at all. But when I went up, when Zach prayed over me, he was mentioning, because he knows I want to make movies and everything, so we kind of used analogies and that. Feel more a personal like connection with him and also God. But in the beginning, it was stuff that he said I need more time with God, and that it don't matter what other people say to me. I need to find the time for God, and it don't matter what other people say to me or do, because God will always be there. And in the tabernacle where we were at, which we leased for 2 nights, because above the drum set in the tabernacle over at Camp Pinnacle, there was a hole bringing in a draft. Because during the candle thing, my candle, no matter if I put it here, put it there, put it there, put it there, above the flame, like here's the flame, boom, 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 and boom. It would always blow out. It would almost blow out. It didn't, and mine was one of the first few lit. But, what happened was afterwards I went to the back of the room, and my friend Jacob told me he considered me family, and I was like I didn't expect that. It blew my mind that he said that. And then because my cousins Connor, Cougar, Raven, and Kodiak went on me along with on the trip, and so I went over to go give a hug to Elsan, but I was like, no. Wait, no, never mind. Scratch that last part. Cougar and Kodiak came over, because Kodiak came over to give me a hug, then Cougar came over to give us both a hug, and said, no matter what I say, or you do, or I do to you, like if I do something, if I said something to him, and he said something to me, and we got into a little fight, or he was joking and said something that I felt hurt a little, it didn't matter, because that he said no matter what I do to you, say to you, you do to me, you say to me, I'm always gonna love you. And I'm getting so many tears. And then I went over to give because my friend Elsan was sitting down, and my friend Jay was over there, so I was like, okay, I'll wait and give him a hug, but I couldn't. And then my cousin Connor came over and gave me a hug and told me that he loved me. But in this sense, because what Chris had mentioned earlier in the morning for his message was, saying I love you is the number one thing. But if you say I love you and you expect it back from somebody, don't expect I love you from somebody, because then that's human love. Godly love is basically saying I love you, and then telling the person, as my cousin, she Raven mentioned, she told her one boyfriend that I love you. She said you don't have to say it until you feel ready to say it, and that is a perfect example of the whole situation with that, because um you don't always have to expect someone to say it, and he did that, and then I was just because he did that before I went over to Elson. So Connor came over next to me before I went over to Elson, and then I was just like, I went to go give him a hug, and I was like, I can't, because it was me, Kodiak, Cougar, and Connor all in a little group hug. So scratch the part where I'm still trying to remember everything because it just too much happened on the trip. But this was the second night, and everybody so came. So what happened afterwards was I went over to go give my friend Osana because he was crying, and I just wanted to be supportive. But I stood there. I was waiting because my friend Jake was giving a pretty long hug, and I was like, oh wait. I stood there, waited like a couple seconds. I was like, no, I can't. So I went to sit back down and got into tears and everything because of what everyone said that they meant it when they said that, and I felt godly love. And then people came over, put their hands on my back, started rubbing it with like being supportive, and then my friend Michaela came over and gave me a hug and said that she loved me, and it felt a lot different than anything. It wasn't just like a boyfriend girlfriend thing, which we weren't doing. No, but she's a lot older, but either way, but never mind that. It wasn't just like a little thing where it was just like that type of situation. No, it felt different, and I couldn't stop crying that night because of what happened. And basically, I felt godly love. And let me flip back because I'm exhausting. I don't really need to be, but godly love without the other part, because there's parts here that are sub parts to this, but godly love is based on choice without cause. It's like saying I love you and not expecting anything back. Going over to someone's house when they're sick and making them soup if they ask you, because they ask you, or if you know they're sick, you can go over and ask, is there anything I can do? Knock on their door, ask, is there anything I can do? Otherwise, if someone says, oh, can you come over and make me soup? It's like, yeah, okay. You go over. That's not doing it with godly love, because you're just going over there because they asked. Doing things with godly love is doing it without being completely asked. If you're asked to do something, you do it, and you do extra, that's godly love. And godly love is not an impulse of the feeling. So if you don't have any feeling, if you have feelings for somebody, that's different. It's human love. Excuse me. I have a cold. I'll get more onto that. Like, this is just my experience there, my testimony. But then I'll go about what we did over there. But